Nice day for it.
It's a beautiful day.
Nobody ever knows the next bit
No,
to that, do they?
just
No,
the title.
no. On this beautiful day, Nick, you know how much I love the Skoda Elroq, don't you?
Oh, it's one of those cars that Ginny just won't stop banging on about all the time.
I don't think I do it all the time.
You do.
Okay, maybe that's fair. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that car, but we are here to talk about another Skoda. Say hello to the Skoda Elroq. This is the baby of Skoda's electric range.
You said Skoda and not Skoda.
Oh, I know. I just always feel a bit stupid saying Skoda. It makes me feel daft.
Yeah, Skoda, Hyundai.
Potato, potato.
No one says potato.
No, that's true. Nobody does say potato. Anyway, putting that to one side, we have managed to get our hands on one of the first Skoda or Skoda Elroqs, depending on how you like us to say it. In the UK, it's left-hand drive, and we're going to do a sneaky twin test with it.
But against what?
Ooh.
Place your bets now. You have about 4 seconds to get your comment in. Go, because the sting's coming.
Sting.
So yes, we have the Skoda Elroq, and we're putting it up against the Kia EV3, our car of the year. Now, honestly, you're going to see this car a lot this year, I reckon.
That is because the EV3, of course, is a benchmark car for us, really. So there's going to be loads of cars measured against it. And this is going to be interesting because on paper, at least, it looks like the Skoda might be the one to wobble its crown.
Drama. The Elroq is on sale now in the UK, and it's a big car for Skoda, not in size, but because it's set to compete in the biggest sector of the new car market, mid-size SUVs, and has some seriously tough competition in the form of cars like the Kia EV3, the Hyundai Kona, the Volvo EX30.
So the Elroq is priced from £31,500 for the entry-level model with its 55 kilowatt-hour battery and 232 miles of range, and goes up to £38,650 if you want the top spec with the larger battery and up to 360 miles of range. So this is the Elroq Edition 85 with that big 77 kilowatt-hour battery, and it will set you back £44,700 as you see it today, thanks to bigger wheels, metallic paint and other options. Now, it's worth pointing out that the great thing about the Elroq is that it costs the same as its petrol equivalent, the Skoda Karoq, which is a big step forward for EVs.
Yay! Price parity! We are getting there. I mean, it looks like it's got everything going for it, but can it hit the high notes in our head-to-head? Does the Elroq rock?
Oh God, once the DJ, always the DJ. The Kia EV3 range kicks off at £32,995 for the 58.3 kilowatt-hour battery, with a claimed range of 267 miles, and it tops out with the GT Line S at £43,895, which will give you up to 372 miles of range from its 81.4 kilowatt-hour battery. This is the bigger battery GT Line S, and it will set you back £44,520, thanks to an extra £625 for pistachio green paint. It's interesting because they do look massively different, don't they?
Yeah.
Solid and classic, bit
Funky.
sensible, funky, yes.
Like, if we're talking crisps,
Yeah,
some people like ready salted crisps.
that's ready salted.
That's ready
Absolutely.
salted. And I think that would be more Thai sweet chili.
Prawn cocktail.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which for me, I'm a Thai sweet chili prawn cocktail kind of girl.
Yeah, agreed.
I don't mind a ready salted.
And ready salted is a solid, dependable choice that is a crowd pleaser. Most people would have a dip in a bowl of ready salted crisps.
See, this could be ready salted crisps with a mild salsa dip because it's rear wheel drive.
Oh, I like
Yeah?
it.
Okay.
I like it. Okay,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right. So we've got them classed now. We know where they stand.
I think it makes total sense.
With our deeply scientific design comparison out of the way, let's head inside. First up, the Elroq.
First of all,
Yeah,
shout out to kind of denim vibes.
like that a lot. Very modern.
I like the
Feels stitching's lovely,
the
isn't it?
stitching's and it's everywhere, and it's really nice in the seats, and I so lovely. Even down the side of the centre console, look.
It feels very nice quality in here. If you put me in this and I was blindfolded and I couldn't see the Skoda badge and you told me it was an Audi, I would not go, no, it's not.
Oh,
yeah.
That's quite a statement.
It is quite a statement. Until I went to get out the car and reached for the door handles because they're really cheap plastic.
Yeah.
And that really disappoints me because everything else is nice in here. It feels quality. Like you say, the attention to detail. All the stitching's very neat. Then you get nasty feeling door handles.
Yeah, I'm also not a fan of the Skoda badge on the steering wheel.
Okay, I don't mind that so much. But anyway, yeah.
I just think it looks a bit meh.
Okay. Cup holders are still very small. I'm very disappointed that Skoda's not listening to my constant moans.
You
about the
can
size
lift
of the cup
out this
holders.
middle bit though.
Oh, it still doesn't work, and then you kind of have a cup balanced in the middle. But I've bored on about that in too many videos, so let's move on.
Fine, let's move on.
Okay. It's okay.
What's that?
It's just an understorage. They love little compartments and things for your sweets. But that's for your your secret sweets.
Ah, my secret sweets.
The ones you don't want the kids or anybody else to find. And the one thing I do like as well is I like the understorage.
Yes, that's very handy. That's very handy to chuck some stuff.
It feels to me more enclosed in here than it does in the EV3.
Feels brighter in the EV3.
It feels brighter and it feels more open because you don't have this central console.
Also, the screen feels a tad retro now, like these kind of real sticky up screens in the middle. I just think are a bit been and gone. Like it would be really nice if it was just one nice, neat, continuous screen. And also, the AI within the vehicle. Her name's Laura.
Laura, the AI assistant.
Which is a really common name.
That would be difficult, wouldn't it?
If you're travelling with your mate Laura, and you go, hey Laura.
So Laura, how was your date, Laura?
She's going to keep butting in.
Oh, I haven't had a date. Can you fix me up with anyone?
Like, I don't know an Alexa.
No, that's true.
Or a Mercedes.
I do know a Mercedes.
You must know more Lauras than Mercedes.
I do know more Lauras than Mercedes,
Yeah.
and I definitely don't know a Siri. So
No.
I get that. Anyway, but she does work well. You know, she works for you, does Laura. One thing I do like is the fact that I could put you in a car seat if I wanted to. If you would fit, of course.
I would definitely fit because I am so tiny.
I know. It's got ISOFIX points in the front seat as well, which is actually really handy for family drivers.
Is that really handy? I don't have kids.
It is really handy, yeah. Both Vicky P and I, when we saw that this morning, we were like, oh, it's got ISOFIX in the front passenger seat.
Okay.
Yes, it's really useful.
Okay.
Yeah.
This video is brought to you with Anderson EV, the UK's most awarded home charge point brand of 2024. Offering over 200 colour and finish options, a market-leading 7-year warranty and a unique hidden tethered cable.
This is where the Elroq really scores for me back here because it is more spacious than the EV3. I really love the way the seat is just angled slightly downwards so it slopes and you just feel like you've got a bit more headroom around you, which you have. Good sized door bins. I like the pockets on the front seats with a little phone flap. I like this central storage, but you can also take it out, which I won't do. It does come out if you have a third passenger in here. ISOFIX seats on the outside. Really decent sized armrest. Although the cup holders are tiny. I don't think you're going to get any cups in there. All in all, I think this back seat is what really lands this well as a family car.
Yes, we do have like 1,000,001 videos of us talking about this whole interior. So if you do want a proper detailed view, there are way other videos where we go into much more detail. But for me, this is superior.
I do know what you mean. And I think you were saying before, there are plastics in here, as there are in all of these cars, but they feel a much nicer grade. So these areas where you're touching to open the door feel nice in the EV3. And I think considering these specs are really close, I think just the finishing in the Elroq is a bit disappointing in certain areas.
I feel like there's been more thought that's gone into this. There's been more design thought that's gone into this. It's simple things like being able to change the temperature with a flappy paddle rather than having to go into the screen. I know you do have the screen there, but you don't have to look at a screen to do it. You can just flap on the paddles. It's little things. I get that.
I think the slight curve of the infotainment system as well towards the driver, it just feels a bit more modern. And I think the issue with the Elroq, and I think it's a lovely interior and the seats are comfy and it is good quality and I do like the denim-y. But the issue for me is there's so much group purchasing goes on across the VW group that I get in that and I have to think, I've seen that screen before in somewhere else. And
I've seen those
that.
slideys.
And I just feel that this feels a bit more bespoke, whereas that just feels like parts from the group parts bin, a little bit.
Bespoke is a really good word for that, actually.
Okay.
And also, I want to take this opportunity to give a shout out to the headrest.
Oh, once again, we're never going to stop talking about them. Best headdress in the business.
Literally in the whole business.
In fact, I'm going to have a little snooze.
They're basically pillows.
Oh, so nice.
Like, if you just do that.
All right, Nick.
If you just do that. So nice.
Let me know when you're done.
Now, the headroom in the EV3 might seem like it's worse than what's going on in the Elroq. And technically that's right, but that's because in the Elroq, the seats dip a little bit. So in here, you sit higher up. But the legroom in here is fairly decent. That's set up for my driving position. I'm 5'6.5", so not too shabby at all. It feels lighter as well. I think because of this trim, the lighter seats just makes it feel a slightly better quality and just feels brighter back here. You've also got some charge ports on the back of the seats here. You can chuck some stuff in there. You do have rear heated seats, just like you do in the Skoda. You've also got bigger cup holders for your bigger cup needs. Lovely. Interesting one when it comes to the boot size, right? Because on paper, the Elroq is bigger, even though the Kia looks bigger. This is 470 litres. That's 460 litres.
It is.
But that looks significantly bigger than this.
It does. And when you get the seats down, that jumps up to 1,580 litres.
Yeah.
This is 1,250 litres, but we're both convinced that actually this is a bigger boot, even though it isn't. Why is that? Have you got your measuring tape?
I don't.
Okay.
I do have an idea.
Okay.
Umbrella for measurement.
All right, you'll get wet.
I won't. Wait.
What are you doing, Nick?
Huh?
Yes. Okay, good. Right, there you go.
Right.
Okay, as we were.
So starting with width, if I put that there, it's about an extra handle.
Okay.
Yeah?
Yeah?
Width and the Kia.
Width in the Kia. Oh, it's wider.
It's wider.
It's much more than an extra handle.
Right, depth.
Okay.
Okay. Solid, goes all the way to the end there.
Solid brollies.
Good, yeah, good measuring, well done.
It's a brolly deep. Oh.
Ah.
Oh, it's not quite a
Deeper.
brolly deep. Okay.
This is deep, that's why.
Well, it's not really, because take your brolly back. Now you've got double brollies, because look, you're forgetting about this. This is the good bit. You've got the under boot floor storage, which is great for muddy wellies on days like this.
However, the Kia doesn't come with an umbrella. The Kia doesn't come with a sustainable ice scraper.
It doesn't, but it does have a
here.
healthy options list, and I must point out that you have to pay for a lot of those lovely things.
Yes.
So they've thought about loads of stuff, but you have to pay for it.
Yeah, but the Skoda Simply Clever stuff is brilliant.
Yeah,
like
it
even
is.
just down to where you can put your cables, like all these sort of handles and the ice scraper and all that sort of stuff. They've thought about everything. But yes, they do charge you for everything.
So I think what we're basically saying is they both have pretty good storage space. I mean, great, really, everything you'd need. It's just that this is a bit wider, a bit more usable. They both have a low load lip though, which is great. So it's, I think it's a tie for different reasons on the boot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's much of a muchness, isn't it, really?
Yeah, much of a muchness. Now, one of the things that makes me love the Enyaq so much is how it drives. It is just comfy and easy to drive, everything you want in a family car. And I've got to say, the same applies for this. So this is the most powerful version, the 85. It tops out at 111 miles per hour. 0 to 60 is 6.6 seconds. And like the Volvo EX30, one of its rivals, of course, it's got single motor at the rear. Now, I find the power a bit too much in the EX30, and I find that when you put your foot down in that car, you get a bit of scrabbling. If I do that in this, nothing there at all. It's absolutely, completely grippy. I think that's a real different characteristic from the Volvo, and I prefer the drive on the Elroq by far. It's comfortable, you know, the steering is nice and responsive. It's maybe a little light for me if I'm being picky. There's a selection of driver modes down here. You can have sport and set it up as you want. I actually prefer the extra weight that you get on the steering in sport mode. But again, that's just entirely down to taste, isn't it? And I think for a lot of people, that light, easy steering will work, particularly when you couple it with an amazing turning circle. I was quite shocked by the turning circle on this. It's really tight, and it's going to make it very easy to park and to manoeuvre around town, which again, big thumbs up. Another thumbs up is all the physical buttons in here. They are lovely. Big bank of physical buttons here. Volume control on the steering wheel. And you have proper window controls to my left. Now, if you watch our reviews regularly, you'll know that one of our big gripes from a lot of VW Group cars, which is of course what Skoda is that they've had this funny system where you have to, flick a little slider in order to operate the rear windows. So basically one set of switches does front and rear, and it does really bug people. Anyway, if I'm being picky as well, whilst the ride is great, really very comfy, no body roll going into corners, it feels lovely and steady, I am more conscious of road noise in this than I am in the EV3. Now, this has been the most miserable of days. The roads are very wet, and it's also riding on slightly larger wheels, so it's got 20s as opposed to the 19-inch wheels that we've got on the Kia. I don't know if you can hear it, but I'm just a bit more conscious actually of lumps and bumps in the road and wind noise. Look, it's not going to bother you. I'm being really picky now because these are two really expensive cars, and you want us to nitpick, but it's not going to bother you day to day at all. But it's just an observation that I think, if anything, the Kia feels slightly more refined. I'm not a massive fan of the brakes. The foot brake itself is a little spongy actually. You do need to be quite firm to bring it to a stop, to slow it down if you're travelling quickly or you're going downhill. It just almost seems to take a beat before they kick in. And the regenerative braking, which is something I love about electric cars, isn't the strongest. You've really only got B mode. Look, it will slow it down. It's quiet road here, and you can see it slowing it down, but what it doesn't do is bring it to a complete stop. And what you don't have are the different levels of regenerative braking that you get in the Kia. I think for me, the Kia wins on that whole braking system. It's much sharper and much more responsive.
When it comes to charging on the Elroq, you get different speeds at different models. The entry-level Elroq 50 tops out at 145 kilowatts, the 60, 165 kilowatts, and this model, the Elroq 85, tops out at 175 kilowatts. That means a 10 to 80% charge will take around 30 minutes. AC charging, well, that's up to 11 kilowatts. Vehicle to load is sadly not available on the Elroq, unlike the Kia EV3, but it does also come with a heat pump. That's available on the top specs for £1,100.
Right. I think it's fairly obvious if you're a fan of Electrifying and you watch this channel. I am a fan of Korean cars. I really am. I think Kia, Hyundai, Genesis, I think they are all brilliant cars. Where I drove this car the first time, I fell in love with it. So yes, I am a fan. I am a fan of the EV3. I think it drives really, really well. We've got front wheel drive here. This thing doesn't have like adaptive dampers or anything, but the suspension in this is just really nice. It feels really smooth. It's as powerful as you need it to be. I mean, it will do 0 to 62 in like 7.7 seconds. Perfectly adequate. Perfectly fine. It's smooth, it's quiet, it's comfortable, visibility is great. This car is great. It really is. I mean, in terms of like power and horsepower, etc., there is very soon going to be an all-wheel drive version that's going to have like 300 horsepower, which is going to be crazy fun to drive. But this isn't the kind of car that needs to be crazy fun to drive, because this is a nice family SUV. I think what it is about Kia, the brand in particular, is they're so easy. They're so easy to live with. There's no faff. You don't have to go into screens to find things. It's all buttons. Every bit of information is right in front of your face. And this feels light and airy. We're on 19-inch wheels. I believe the Skoda's on 20s. So naturally this will be slightly quieter in terms of road noise, etc. Because I found, where I just took the Elroq for a quick spin just then, that the road noise was a little bit louder than what we've got in here. But this is nice and quiet, very comfortable. Drive modes. You've got some options. There's a little button down here. Ba-boom. What are we in at the moment? Right, we're now in sport mode. So as soon as I put my foot down, because this is front wheel drive, you might expect it to scrabble a little bit. Here we go. No, there's no scrabbling there. No. Very oomphy. Yes. There's some oomph behind there. Yeah, you can have a bit of fun with this. Oh, you totally can. Yes. Then as we go down the drive modes, what else have we got? We've got eco, normal, sport, my drive, which basically means you can like personalize everything to your liking. Normal mode is basically where you're going to sit most of the time. Now, where this car is a clear winner, in my humble opinion, is the regen braking. If you're new to electric cars, basically regen braking or regenerative braking is where you lift your foot off the accelerator and you'll feel the car start to brake, and what that does is it puts more power back into the battery. So it's just a bit more efficient in terms of driving. In the Kia, it's blooming marvellous. Why? Flappy paddles. You've got flappy paddles just behind here, so you can flap all the way over. There we go, level 3, that's what we like. Level 3, yes! And then you can lift off the accelerator, and I'm basically coming down to a stop. I'm not going to do it here because I'm on the road and there's cars coming up behind me. But that will bring you down to a complete stop, which is really satisfying to use. Once you get used to it, once you start full one pedal driving, you'll end up loving it. You will, I promise.
Charging-wise, in the EV3, you can go from 10 to 80% in around 27 minutes. Not too shabby. Now, the entry level can charge at 120 kilowatts, and that rises up to 128 kilowatts for the larger battery, and the option of 22 kilowatt home charging as well, which is always very handy. The Kia EV3 includes vehicle-to-load for charging external devices. Now, both cars actually have manual preconditioning for faster DC charging as well, which is so handy when you're approaching a public charger. This car also comes with an optional heat pump. You only get that in the GT Line S, and the option is 900 quid.
Decision time, and I think we actually have two very different beasts here, don't we? Ready salty prawn cocktail, like we said at the top, and we still think that. I think this for me is probably the more sensible choice of the two. Because it just in terms of how it looks and its interior, it's just not perhaps as out there as the EV3. This may suit some people more.
It's so windy. I absolutely agree with you. I think if you want a safe pair of hands and you want something that's not too drastic and not too in your face, you would probably opt for the Elroq. If you want something a bit more quirky and you're a bit more sort of futuristic, I guess, then you would go for the EV3. But also you've got to think of warranties.
You've got to think of warranties. Kia's got 7 years. This has got 3. That can be transferred from owner to owner, a big selling point. And ultimately as well, with cars in this category, it really does come down to monthly payments, and it's too soon of course to have real comparables on these. We also don't know about things like efficiency, because we're not able to do that properly today. We don't know about charging speeds, so it's not a complete test, but I think we have enough to do the thing, don't we?
I think we have enough to do the thing. We've driven them, we know how we're feeling, right? We're going for it. Which car are we going to take home? 3, 2, 1, Kia. Same.
I know, it's still, it retains the crown.
Can I also throw out a curveball and ask you a question?
Go on. Oh, she worries me when she does this.
Because I know your love of the Enyaq.
Yeah, I know.
If you were to choose between the Enyaq and the Elroq, what you going for?
Oh, I'm not answering that. Bye.